Okay, it's 1 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order here this morning, or this afternoon rather, May 20th of the year. Join me in rising and as you're able, and we'll sing the national anthem.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. As we gather, we recognize and acknowledge the traditional keepers of this land with whom we share today. The Township of Southgate is part of the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Six Nations of the Grand River, Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, the Haudenosaunee, and the Saugeen Métis. The land that surrounds us is a part of who we are as it reflects our histories. May we live in peace and friendship with all its diverse people. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody signed up for open forum?
None today, Mayor Mill.
Very good, thank you. I need a confirmation of the agenda as amended. Jim, second by Jason. All those in favor? Oh, sorry, Madam Clerk, the amendment is we're going to pull
Yeah,
the,
we're gonna pull staff report PW 2026-025,
right,
the suspension of curbside recycling collection for eligible sources.
correct, as the issue in that report has been resolved.
That's right, yeah. So we'll
Excellent.
just pull that. It's item 9.4.2.
Right. Mover okay, seconder's good. All those in favor? That is carried. Is there any declaration of interest related to any item on today's agenda? Not hearing any. If one should arise during the course of the meeting, of course, you can declare it at that time. Delegations and presentations. We have PSD citywide presentation regarding an asset management module. I'm not sure names who we have here today. I saw two gentlemen. There they are. Come on up, gentlemen. Yep, very good. Come on ahead. Welcome.
Thank you.
I will ask a motion to receive the information. Barb, seconded by Martin. Okay, welcome, gentlemen. The floor is yours.
Excellent. Thanks a lot for having us. So we've been working closely with Taylor on getting this pricing together for you. So PSD Citywide, quick introduction. My boss, Justin Scapinello.
Welcome.
And myself, Senior Account Manager for PSD.
Welcome.
So a brief little understanding here, PSD spans nationwide, got about 600 customers all in between Canada and the US now. We've just recently branched into the US, so that's going quite well. So I just wanted to briefly walk you through the value of PSD Citywide's asset management module, specifically and how it helps municipalities make smarter infrastructure decisions, reduce long-term costs, and improve service delivery for residents. The core challenge most municipalities face is the same fundamental issue: aging infrastructure with roads, water, and facilities, limited budgets, and increased expectations from residents. The difficult reality is that without strong asset management, decisions are often reactive, fixing things when they fail rather than proactive and strategic. This leads to higher life cycle costs, increased risk and service disruptions, and difficulty justifying budgets to council and to the public. What does Citywide's asset module do? It gives your municipality a centralized, data-driven view of all your infrastructure assets. At a high level, it allows you to do the following. Know what you own and its condition. This allows for complete asset inventory across all departments and condition tracking to understand what's at risk. Also, plan proactively instead of reactively. Forecast when assets will need repair or replacement, and long-term capital plans based on real data. 3, prioritize spending based on risk and impact. Identify which assets are most critical to service delivery and allocate budgets where it matters the most. And 4, align with regulatory requirements. Our software will support you with your Ontario asset management regulations and obviously makes you, it strengthens your asset management plans that are due. So the real core value to council, this is where it becomes especially relevant and for you as decision makers. For one, better financial decisions. Instead of guessing or relying solely on historical spending, you get evidence-based capital planning. Helps avoid costs and emergency repairs and optimize life cycle spending. Spending $1 today versus 5 tomorrow. Risk reduction. Our system allows and highlights assets nearing failure, critical infrastructure risks, and this reduces the likelihood of service disruptions, emergency spending, and public complaints and reputational risks. 3, transparency and accountability. Council can clearly see why projects are prioritized, what the long-term financial picture looks like, and this supports budget decisions, public communication, and defensible decision-making. And 4, improved service levels. Ultimately, this is about residents, better roads, water systems, and facilities, more consistent service delivery, and fewer surprises. In terms of your review on or your return on investment, municipalities that adopt structured asset management typically see reduced emergency repair costs, more predictable budgeting, extended life, our assets life, and stronger grant and funding applications. This is not just a purchasing of software, but a more of a shift towards long-term financial stability. In closing, PSD, the asset module, helps your municipalities make smarter infrastructure decisions, reduce risk and long-term costs, and improve transparency and service delivery. That's it.
Very good. Thank you. Taylor is our treasurer. Obviously, most people know that. Do you have anything to add, Taylor?
Yeah, I just wanted to say to council that this asset module is something I had been looking at for a while through the asset management plan, especially, and it was an option when we signed up for the asset management plan to go ahead with the asset module, and we decided at the time to not. But kind of getting more involved and with the bigger projects like Victoria Street and now Main Street, this is something that I was looking into because the asset module within Keystone is very file based. So it's hard to manipulate the data. It's hard to pull the data. It's very time consuming. The option that Citywide and some other platforms as well offer is just much more user friendly and will help us asset management planning in the future. And stuff like that, as well as everything that's coming through with the asset management plan regulations. Our system won't be able to track that strongly. Like the Ontario government is talking about tracking of natural assets such as trees on municipal property. So our system isn't strong or robust enough to track that kind of thing. Whereas Citywide has that option. They also have the option to track condition, which our system does not have. So that would be helpful, especially in the budgeting process, like long-term budget wise. We could flag things sooner that might need to come up or change the order of things in our long-term plan so we can better plan for not only taxation, but for debt and debt load. So it's just something I'm looking at. I don't have a report today to bring forward a formal request to go with Citywide. I am looking at a few other options as well, but this is kind of the route I'm hoping to go with, as I think it'll be good for the township.
Very good. Well, thank you. Does council have any questions? Martin?
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, this could be for you, Taylor, for you, maybe John. I'm looking at the project scope, asset classes to be implemented. It's got roads, bridges, culverts, all that. And you said parks, which is the trees, but more importantly, like bridges and would this replace the township engineer's work that he does?
Um,
Or is
no.
it gonna be hand in hand with them?
It would be hand in hand, but we could track that information in this module. And anything they bring up, like with Kevin's structural review, we could add that to this module to track that, or any degradation of the assets in there as well.
Thank you.
Do you gentlemen have anything to add to that, or is that good?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, Barb?
Thank you, and through you, good afternoon. More a question for Taylor than in what she needs from us today in regard to the presentation. You indicated you're already working on a report. Do you need direction, or you're just going to continue on that path?
I believe, I guess I'd have to get from the clerk, but I was looking to go towards this path. I didn't think I needed direction for it. I just didn't want to blindside council when I did bring this forward eventually. And it's nice to have citywide here if there's questions, and present what a module could look like.
Good. Thank you. Good. Go ahead, please.
So my question to you is, there are two presentations or two attachments to your introduction, and I've tried to read them,
Sure.
but I can't read them side by side to
Sure.
distinguish what is different from them.
Are we talking about the proposal that's up on the screen right now, folks? That document?
There were two.
The other document, I think, was a summary, I believe, of the value of the software and what it can provide. So it's really more of a review in terms of what the citywide asset module does, and along with the quote. So, and basically I paraphrased almost everything inside my presentation today.
There's the two quotes attached.
Oh,
There's the
yeah.
one with the CRV. Yeah,
Right,
that's what
one's
she's
with the
referring to.
financial
Yeah,
planning and the CRV tool built in, and one without those value adds.
right, yeah.
So,
So I think
looking-
because the presentations were so similar, it was hard to distinguish if there was a difference in
Sure.
them, but if you could just explain what the difference is.
I
would be
think,
there.
in terms of, there's obviously a cost involved with the financial piece and the CRV. But in terms of the difference,
Citywide, all our modules come with value added products. Oh, sorry. They come with value added features. So the financial balancing is not required for the system to operate the way it's supposed to operate. The same with the CRV report as well. So every year townships, municipalities have to provide a CRV report back to the government. We've found a way to take that report that the government is looking for and build it in our software to make it a one-click process, to take a lot of time and strength off of clerks and so on and so forth.
Very good. Jason, you had a question?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's for Taylor or you guys. So is staff still looking at the assets and just sending the information to them? Or are you guys out under bridges and opening truck hoods, or?
well, we would take your data from the spreadsheets that you currently have and help you implement that data into the software. And then during implementation, working with you to get all the specifics of those assets.
Yeah, so then once we're fully onboarded, then we would take it on to input the condition and everything like that. And if we have reports from engineers, we would put those in, whether the asset life might change, whether that be shorter or longer. We would do that.
So basically, we're just paying for the software service.
Yes,
What our staff should be noticing the problems as well as our engineers, so.
yep.
We're okay.
Okay. Joan, you had a question?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Taylor, we had a presentation with some asset management stuff for months ago.
Mhm.
Yes. I don't know if I was remembering or
Yeah.
not, right?
Yeah, so that also was with Citywide, so they brought us up to regulation for 2025.
Okay, because I knew I remember
Yes.
citywide and we had that asset management.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did one of our colleagues come up and present the asset management plan?
It
to
was
you?
Marisa.
Oh, Marissa,
Yeah.
wonder.
Any other questions from council? Okay, well, I want to thank you gentlemen very much for your presentation. We look forward to how this will progress in terms of where the treasurer recommends we go.
Sure.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'll call the question to receive the presentation. All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on to the next presentation, we have a delegation here from Wayne Billings at the Holstein General Store. Good morning, Wayne. Come on up to the microphone. I'll ask for a motion to receive the delegation. Jim, seconded by Martin. Thank you. Floor is yours, Wayne. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. So the purpose of my appearance before council today is to bring forward concerns regarding the future of the Holstein General Store, which has been in the community for 136 years, as well as other rural community stores similar to ours. Approximately 64 years ago, the LCBO formed the LCBO agency stores. They were introduced to serve residents living outside of larger communities, giving rural Ontarians access to alcohol sales through small general stores and convenience stores. However, it has only been within the last 10 to 20 years that the number of LCOs in Ontario has grown to nearly 400 locations. My wife and I purchased the Holstein General Store just over 5 years ago during the COVID pandemic. At the time, we believed we were making a sound investment. Alcohol sales are a significant part of consumer spending, and because our store was considered an essential service, we felt confident in its long-term stability. Unfortunately, when we purchased the store, the LCBO agency operation had only been established a few months earlier, leaving very little sales history available for us to review. By the time we took possession, the LCBO had already implemented delivery charges of $2.25 per case, and shortly afterwards, the beer store also introduced delivery fees. With margins on alcohol products sitting at only 10%, we quickly discovered that the operation involved a tremendous amount of work and very little financial return. Within a couple of years, I spoke with former MPP Rick Byers and have tried to have a meeting, but timing doesn't work with our current MPP Paul Vickers about these concerns. The low margins made it nearly impossible to operate sustainability without significantly increasing prices on other store products, some of which we are now required to mark up to 40 or 50%, which in my eyes is price gouging. This past April, the LCBO implemented a new modernization program. Unfortunately, the LCO operators across Ontario, the rollout has been nothing but short of a nightmare. What started as a conversation between two store owners here in Ontario quickly grew into a province-wide coalition. Within less than a month, our group expanded from 2 to over 200 of the 400 LCOs. After sending countless emails to MPPs requesting assistance, a coordinated email campaign sent to Premier Doug Ford on Monday, April 27th at 9 a.m. resulted in a meeting with the Ministry of Finance within 2 days later. Our group presented 12 key issues, 3 of which we identified as urgent and necessary for stores to survive without being to close, sell, and declare bankruptcy. I will note that the Holstein General Store is up for sale. Hopefully this resolves something if we can get somewhere, but I'm one of the first ones that had to list their store for sale. First, we asked for fair margins. Convenience stores, gas station, and grocery stores that came into effect almost 2 years ago that sell beer, wine, and coolers are permitted to increase prices above the recommended retail price. Us LCOs, however, are prohibited from adjusting our prices, leaving us restricted to a 10% margin, while other retailers are operating at margins between 20 and 30%. Second, we requested improved payment terms, either through delayed payment options or the ability to pay by credit card. Currently, LCO operators are required to pay for all inventory up front before delivery. If products are missing when an order arrives, we then must wait for refunds to be processed. I myself am currently waiting for over $6,000 in refunds for products that never were delivered. Yesterday, a random deposit was made into our bank account with no explanation or reconciliation. When I contacted my rep this morning, I was told it was only a partial refund. This process has become an accounting nightmare for not only myself or for my bookkeeper. And the amount that got into the bank account doesn't coincide with any one invoice that we received. Third, as of April 1st, we lost the ability to purchase beer directly from the beer store. So if we were short on our shelves, we could always go to the beer store. For instance, Easter weekend, they implemented this new program. We got our beer order on Wednesday. We had to have our order in on Thursday instead of the Monday. My shelves were full. I didn't know what to order. So I thought, we'll just go to the beer store next week, as we often did. I called into my order to the beer store, 100 cases. I happened to know the manager. She had it already sitting at the door. She goes to type in the order, and guess what? We no longer have an account with the beer store. We have to do all of our purchases through the LCBO. So for 1 week, I had no beer in my store. The second week, they decided that they weren't going to deliver it for another week. So anybody who would have been into my store would have seen that our floor was empty and we had no beer to offer our customers. Since April 1st, the implementation, many products listing on the ordering platform are actually, our wholesale price is higher than the retail price. I could go through and show you over 100 items. It's been over 6 weeks and those items are still there. So if I was to buy a case of Doug's famous Crown Royal, I'm going to pay $125 more for that case than what I'm supposed to sell it for. There's been no explanation, no correction. So rural stores like ours are more than just businesses. We are community hubs. We provide essential services, sponsorships to residents who have limited alternatives nearby. Without meaningful changes and fair treatment, many of these stores will not survive. Now, I will add, a week ago Friday, and I don't want to say the word ambushed, but I got called to go to the Rockton Berry Farm. They're a store, an LCO, and Donna Skelly, who is an MPP, conservative, and she's also the Speaker of the House, was going to be there to speak to the owner of the Rockton Berry Farm. Turned out 8 of us showed up. We kind of ambushed her a little bit, but it was great. She listened to what we had to say. Last Tuesday, we had a second meeting with the Minister of Finance, and we met with the highest level person that we could there. I want to say there was a lot of off the record, not that it was ever said, but we took it that way. So there's some promises, but nothing on paper. But the very next day, we did receive an email that they are looking at implementing payment terms for us. So I'm just asking for your support as to how important LCOs are, not necessarily the LCO, but the convenience stores, general stores are in rural Ontario. Some service clubs have written letters to our MPP on this, and we have a petition in our store, and to date we have over 230 signatures that we will be providing to the LCBO and the Ministry of Finance. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. There is, of course, as you see on your agenda, there is a notice of motion for council's consideration later in the meeting, but thank you, Wayne, for that presentation. It is just coincidentally, I had an occasion to speak to Mr. Vickers yesterday, and I quizzed him a little bit about this issue, and he said, I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it. He didn't want to talk about it, but he was aware of it.
He also doesn't want to answer me.
Well, that notwithstanding, he is aware of the issue. So, does council have any questions for clarification on the issue? Martin, please.
When you said the low margins, and I totally agree with it, it seems to be very lopsided towards certain organizations. With you, when you have your empty, do you collect the empties as well? Because that is
Yes, so that's
that
another-
is a definite cost
So-
for you that,
So that's another subject I can explain to you. We get a penny a can. They just increased this to 2 cents a can. So any store that's over 5,000 square feet that 2 years ago when this, or a year and a half ago when this came in, was supposed to accept empties. January 1st was when they were supposed to start, and all the corporations didn't like it, didn't want to do it, and they said it wasn't sanitary. I'm not going to argue. Man, I can show you how many bottles we get full of urine that are returned. I can show you how many that are full of cigarette butts. Somebody has to sort them for 2 cents a can. I can't pay somebody to count beer cans, so we do the honor system. I get ripped off every day. I have videos. I've shamed people on Facebook, not showing their face. I put it on Facebook. I had one, for instance, said they brought back 800 cans, $80. I went out and counted them after she left because my staff paid the $80 because we don't have time to go check. She returned 235 cans. So I strategically went through my videos, put on Facebook what I wanted to put on, worded it, because there's always somebody who's going to slam me for doing the wrong thing. I said that she had 2 days to come good, or else I was going to put her face on Facebook. Anybody want to guess how long it took her to contact me? She obviously had a guilty conscience because it took her 5 minutes to phone the store. And that's one of many that it happens. So my understanding is the grocery stores didn't want to take it back because it's insanitary. So they're paying a 17-cent per can penalty or bottle, I guess, so that they don't have to do it. So the problem is all the beer stores, I'm lucky. I still have Mount Forest. I still have Durham that accepts. And you know what? Being there 5 years, I have customers that have no idea that we take back empties. And when I talk to them, and there are people that come into my store every day. But these communities that the beer stores have already closed, we are the only source to return beer cans. And I just read on, we have a chat of these 200 people, other stores. And one of them, she explained the very first year that she was in business, she returned $5,000 worth of beer cans. Last year, she returned $95,000 worth of beer cans. When she calculated her costs and everything, and they don't, we have to buy our own cardboard trays to put them in. I don't know how many of you pay to come to work. You know, it's all costs that we shouldn't have to pay. And she figured it all out hourly. Out of the $95,000 in returns, she made $60. So that is another issue that we are going after, is beer can returns, higher values.
Barb, do you have a question?
Thank you. And I think my notice of motion will speak to elevating the conversation, but I just also want to mention for those listening is that you are also a Canada Post outlet.
Yes.
The taxation on the alcohol is critical to the government, and the revenue from those returns is also critical to the government. So I would say that from a financial perspective and from a Canada Post outlet perspective, I'm happy to elevate her voice if council supports. So thank you for coming out and sharing the additional information firsthand.
One thing I will note, Toronto Star, I believe it was last week, had a story that, and we have to think about recycling our landfills and everything, but it was either 56 million or $65 million worth of empties last year that were paid for and never returned to a facility.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Just hang on, Wayne. There's another question online. Monica, go ahead, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and it's so nice to see you, Wayne. Thank you for presenting. Just to the matter for the delegation, of course, and rural, for me, this is really a question of rural equity. And just with regards to the Holstein store, not just being a retail store, but a community connection place and local employer, I just wanted to thank you for raising this question and bringing it forward, and for the deputy mayor putting this notice of motion. With regards to that, the question I have, Wayne, is with regards to the other services. I was gonna actually ask a question that one of the services have been mentioned with regards to Canada Post, but would it be possible that you could also offer the other things that the Holstein store offers that would be lost if it were to close, including the activities that the Holstein store and yourself do sponsor and provide help with?
So unfortunately, I would have to say no. As much as I'm here complaining about it, it's a double-edged sword. Those people that come in to buy alcohol are the ones that buy everything else on our shelves. And I don't think that we could survive without the alcohol in the store.
Oh, sorry, just to clarify, my question was more along the lines, what else you offer? Because I know that Canada Post is there, you provide jobs, grocery,
Yeah, so we have
community hub. Yeah, I just kind of want to highlight, like, if the Holstein store were to close, the impact it would have in the area. Because I know that I think you do, that's where people gather for the movie night as well that you have put on before. And I just feel that Holstein store is not just a regular retail. There is more things that the store offers, that if it were to close, it wouldn't just be a retail store closing or alcohol selling point. There's more things that are offered at the general store.
Well, I can tell you that we are the ticket master of Holstein. We sell tickets for anything that the Optimist Club puts on, any other service club. If they come to us, we don't charge. We sell all the tickets. The Catch the Ace draw for both Durham and Mount Forest, we do. We just got a little piece of paper on, I believe it was from Mount Forest, as to we had sold, I can't remember how many thousands of dollars worth of tickets there, that money went back into the community. As well as in the 5 years that I there, we have sold 3 grand prize winners for the Catch the Ace. So it's and I educate people as to how to play and how to contribute to help out either the local Lions in Durham or the Legion in Mount Forest. So that's an important, in my mind, the Catch the Ace is an important part of our store to raise money for our communities.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There are a multitude of things that the Holstein store does. It's for no small reason that a lot of people call it the Holstein Mall. You do everything.
Try to.
Almost.
We have to make $1. People ask, I'm into so much stuff, and anybody that knows me, how hard I work. And
Absolutely.
I will make a comment on the fact that Randy Bai walked into the store and I'm sorry, because I will cry. Randy Bai walked into the store this morning and he said, "Did you not sleep last night?" And I said, "Yeah, 7 hours. I get more sleep than I ever have in my life." I'm in this chat. We have 200 people. We are all ready. We're an angry group right now because we are all at risk of losing our stores over this. And thank God for this group that we have formed, because it's made us all stronger. But I know I show my stress very well, and it's been tough. We've dropped 60,000 into the store since Christmas. And the problem is if we don't keep our liquor stores stocked or liquor shelves stocked, then people won't come in. But unfortunately, that money, that little that we make on the LCBO, we have to use the other money just to keep the LCO stocked. And it's our other vendors that supply us that are suffering right now, that we can't pay them what we need to pay them as quick as we want to.
Right.
I'm hoping that I don't have to sell the store and that this is going to be the rainbow for us all.
I'm hoping you can stay where you are too. Joan, I'll give final word to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, even though you took a part of my final word. Mr. Bill and Spanky, aka Spanky, we just want to thank you for all that you've done for the community. Thank you for everything that you do. It's not just about selling alcohol. And by the way, when I just came here and I heard about your store, it just wasn't a store. I heard that it was the Olstein Super Mall. I'm not gonna say who told me that, but that's what it is. So keep it that way. I truly hope that you can find a way out, and the community or whatever it takes could be here, just because I don't know what we would do without that story in there. So thank you again.
And I remember the day you walked into the store.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate your time. I'll call the question. All those in favor of receiving the presentation? That is carried. Okay, moving on. We have one more presentation. We have MHBC Planning Signature Homes presentation regarding the Dundalk Meadows Phase 9 subdivision agreement. We have two folks here joining us. So welcome, ladies. And the floor is yours. Oh, I need a motion to receive the presentation first. Jim, second by Martin. Thank you. Please, floor is yours.
I'm a lot shorter, so hopefully that is on. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Opani Mulalige. I'm a senior planner with MHBC Planning, the planning consultants for this project. My colleague Corey Chisholm was originally meant to make this presentation, but was unable to attend. So I will be speaking in his place. I'm joined today by Christina Chang of Signature Communities. And the purpose of our delegation today is to introduce Signature Communities, the developer of Phase 9 in the wider Edgewood Green subdivision, in advance of the execution of the subdivision agreement at the next appropriate council meeting. I will provide a brief overview of the site and its current status in planning terms before I hand it over to Christina. So hopefully this works. Perfect. So just to give a quick overview, so this first slide shows an aerial of Dundalk with the wider subdivision located to the southeast of the village. And then this is just a closer view of the subdivision showing that a good portion has already been built out. And this next slide is an excerpt of the phasing plan, which identifies Phase 9 directly in the middle of the wider subdivision. And because this phase is being built out by a separate developer than the rest of the subdivision, the phase has been renamed as Elevation, which you'll see at the top of that slide there. So the parameters of Elevation are identified in this aerial, being just over 7 acres or 3 hectares in size. And Elevation will accommodate 47 singles detached dwellings and include a park and 2 open space blocks. And since acquiring this phase in late 2024, Signature Communities has been working diligently to prepare for the registration of this development. The detailed design review, also known as the engineering submissions, has concluded, and almost all letters of clearance have been acquired from external agencies. And then once the subdivision agreement is executed, we will need to confirm servicing allocation and then finally lift the removal of hold. Following this, we will then be reaching out to the county to confirm all conditions associated with the draft plan approval have been satisfied, and that then the development can be registered. So short and sweet. Thank you for your time this afternoon. I would now like to invite Christina Chang from Signature Communities to tell you more about their company and their work. However, should you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them if I'm able after Christina's presentation.
Okay. All right, so good afternoon, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Mayors of Council. My name is Christina Chang. I'm the Senior Manager with Land Development of Signature Communities. Of course, at Signature Communities, we are hitting our 20th year being formed, and we basically build residential communities across the province. As well as we have some projects in Florida as well. And just more so, we deal with condominiums, townhomes. We have started dealing with long-term cares as well for the community. At Signature Communities, we focus on creating homes and neighborhoods that are well-planned, thoughtfully designed, and built to support long-term community growth. We work closely with municipal staff, consultants, and local stakeholders throughout the planning phases and development process to make sure that our projects align with priorities and community needs. So just kind of speaking to this. Our community, our communities are kind of listed. Just more so, we had a downtown high-rise 330 unit condo. This is basically our Brampton townhouse unit. There was about, I think we had 28 townhomes in Brampton. And here we had 18 single family dwellings in King City. This is in northern, this is our Northern Lights project in Muskoka, Lake of Bays. This is our Richmond Hill condo townhouse unit as well. And this is one in Schaumburg, condominium, 130 units. This one is Tau. This is another condominium that was successfully done. And our current project. So right now we're working with Agila Tosseronio to build 25 estate homes. So that is ongoing. And of course, our future right now. So this is what we are bringing to Dundalk is 47 single family dwellings that we're working with Ken and other staff at Southgate to come to fruition. We are currently having, this one is more so a net zero community that we're putting forward is a greener, it's called Green Earth Village in East Willenbury and is part of an ongoing secondary plan. So King Square, we're part of a block plan of a commercial building, condominiums, as well as delivering open space park blocks as well in King City. This one is our condominium, 259 units in King City as well, near the GO station on Keel Street. We are looking again from our same development in Lake of Bays. Northern Lights is our phase 2 going to proceed. And this one we are dealing with in downtown Vaughan, a 1,200 unit condo. And then these are just a list of different awards that we have been provided as well and honors.
Questions if you have them.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions from council? Martin?
Yeah, hi there. I was just wondering, looking at the proposal, there's 47 single detached dwellings. What size are you going with what's around you, or do you have your own plans? It was good to see all the things you do. So what kind of buildings are you putting up, you know, aesthetically? Some people say there's no aesthetic value to the subdivisions, but you want to kind of keep it all the same. And so just wondering what it looked like.
Well, that right now is being worked out internally with our marketing department. So, right, I believe, we're working on getting renderings put together of what models are being showcased right now because we haven't officially launched to the public, but I know that's in the background being worked on. So.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, good. Any other, Joan, please?
Good afternoon. You said something about the detailed design is up for review and all of that, and you have everything all planned out. I would love to know maybe a little bit about your lot sizes, the space in between, and do you know about the issues that we have in Dundalk for houses and snow when it comes to snow and the lots that are like right beside each other? And just a off the road question, is Signature Home Signature, so are you a division of Flato or have anything to do with Flato or part of the Flato?
So I'll start with the last question first. So Signature Communities is its own company, not associated with Flato. They bought the site in 2024. So absolutely a very different company. And the lot sizes I can confirm are 10 meter. So we have 32 lots at 10 meters and 15 lots at 13.7, both of which are larger sizes than the minimum permitted in Dundalk. So those are the sizes. And yes, we're aware of the snow issues through other projects I'm working with on it with Ken. Thank you.
So speaking to that issue, how would you propose you're going to mitigate that given the challenges that we've seen in the last 2 winters related to the narrow lot size?
So the lots have already been approved in the size that they have. I think they were approved before Signature Communities bought that particular phase. I am aware that the road is built to the standard permitted by or required by engineering standards. In terms of actual snow removal, it would be part of the municipal part of the municipal road network for removal. I don't know at this time whether you know where this houses will sit within the site, but assumedly with enough space in the front yard for snow piling.
Well, I can almost assure you that there isn't room to pile the snow up for an entire season, but nonetheless, I appreciate your answers.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Martin?
Since the houses aren't really designed yet and your marketing team is looking at it, with all the emphasis on first-time home buyers, are you going to be doing starter homes? There was a promise that some starter homes would be done by other developers. Are you thinking of a good percentage of that than regular up to the bigger, possibly not estate homes, but bigger homes on those obviously bigger lots?
So in regards to, I would say the models and how it's being designed, I can take that comment back in the sense of more so of a starter home rather than a bigger home in the sense of model size and square footages. As of right now, I have not seen what those models look like, but that will be a comment I'll be bringing back to ownership.
Any other questions? Monica, I see your hand up. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Just through you, Chair. Just to piggyback on the last question that was related from Councillor Shipston with regards to housing mix. I do also notice that the proposal have a lot of single dwelling unit homes for at 47, I believe. Was there any other considerations that could be made for starter homes? But I also was just had a like smaller lots, like senior friendly, just to get some more there. Is that something that's been proposed?
No, we basically purchased it on the preface of 47 singles. We weren't looking at any other mix at the moment.
Is there a possibility to look at that?
I'm not too sure on that. I don't think so. Just because we're very close to registering this in the sense of the subdivision agreement based on the 47 singles.
And just to follow up, Chair, can I have a quick
Go
follow-up?
ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Just with regards to also the question about, I think someone just mentioned it about the snow. Because I know with our home, we also had that high piles of snow. Just maybe through you, Chair, to staff, they might be the ones to answer that more for stormwater drainage. I know with more houses coming uh, in terms of infrastructure and operating, how are we going to make sure that things won't flood or that there be a lot of pressure on the existing infrastructure under the ground? Um, so yeah, I just wanted to know to get some idea from staff what their thoughts were on that.
You want to have a run at that, please?
Yes, good afternoon, your worship, members of council. Maybe I'll start and then John, if I miss anything, can chime in. So part of the process for this application to go to the county to be registered to create the lots is that there has to be a stormwater management plan associated with the subdivision drawings itself. So part of what will come forward through the subdivision agreement process in the drawings that are attached to it is their stormwater management plan, how they capture stormwater and deal with it for all of the lots and the total site. And it will integrate into the system that is already set up in the surrounding neighborhood. And just if I could, going back to a previous question, where Signature has purchased this from the previous developer, the zoning is already in place, which only would permit a single detached dwelling. Of course, they have the ability to have additional dwelling units if somebody wanted to be able to do that. But if they were looking to go beyond what is already considered and what had been being pushed forward by the previous developer, they would have to go through a rezoning process, which would be rather time intensive. And I think the goal here is to get the subdivision agreement done to get the lots ready to proceed for development.
Okay, thank you. John, do you have anything to add or?
Yeah, good afternoon, through the chair. Just about the stormwater, as Ken said, they would have to have their stormwater management plans and they would have to all get approved by our consulting engineers and the township before it would be approved in the agreement.
Yep. Thank you. Any other questions? Barb?
Thank you. And through you, thank you very much. And I think you've heard the concerns expressed by others about our snow storage concerns. 37 lots are going to be how wide?
47 lots?
The 37.
Oh, the 30s. Oh, sorry.
37 lots are going to be,
So it's 32 lots, which will be 10 meters, 10-meter frontages. And they're the depth of all of the lots are approximately between 30 and 38 meters. Would you like those in feet?
no,
I work in meters.
so
can
so
provide.
32 lots are going to be 10 meters wide,
Correct.
35 feet, give or take a couple of inches, meters to yards. But how tall are they going to be? Because we don't have an aerial truck. We have one on order, but it's going to take 2 years to get. in order to park a single-family dwelling on a 10-meter wide lot. You know, when this was planned back in 2017, 18, this whole phasing was, you know, it's mandated, but without a rural lens. And we've learned in the last couple of years how difficult it is to get through a winter. Snow removal, yes, it is a municipal infrastructure. We have to plow the roads. It's got to go somewhere. And I'm looking at the artist's rendition, and there's just enough for a subcompact, maybe a compact sedan in the driveway. Doesn't leave a lot of room, plus sidewalks. I'll look forward to seeing the subdivision approval, but you purchased something that we have learned since 2023, 2024 that just isn't working here in Dundalk. But that being said, when you're designing the homes and the models, do keep the size and lot coverage in mind, because even 13.7 meters is a struggle in our current development. And you know, kudos to you for coming and introducing and sharing some information about your company. You have taken on a little bit of a challenge. I guess, sorry, my question through you is also we talked about the lot coverage. Will the 47 single-family dwellings be built in one phase, or are you going to phase that as well?
My understanding, and Christina, if you want to speak to it, is that it all gets built together, but so
yeah.
That was
Yes, so at this current time, we would basically build all 47, but that's also market pending too. If the market warrants us phasing it, then we would look at that, but that would be an ownership decision. But at this time, Opani is correct, it would be all in one.
Go ahead.
And what is Signature Communities, Signature Homes track record on actually, no offense, getting the homes to occupancy with grass and driveways and garage doors? We've, you know, had some struggles with a couple of developers finishing the project, and we just want to make sure that who we're working with, and that there's a commitment to our community to make sure that people feel like it's a home.
Understandably so. We will continue for all of our communities and the ones even that we're building now to actually go from start to finish with sod, with garage doors, with everything that basically a purchaser has bought that home for, right? So to actually make it feel like a home, not something they just purchased and it's only been half delivered. So we would never do that to our purchasers. So, yeah.
Okay, not seeing, oh, Monica, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just through you, and that last question was very good. That was one of mine as well. But another question I had is actually two quick questions. One is about the parkland and open space. Um, I'm not sure if staff can clarify if those parklands are, in terms of the size and the usability, would they be dedicated for the parks, or are these going to be like leftover lands, buffers? I just want to make sure that that we're getting meaningful parkland and not just land that cannot be built on. Do we know that for sure?
Yeah.
Through your worship, maybe I'll start. I might need John to jump in as well. In terms of the parkland that's going to be coming in this particular phase, it's all part of the comprehensive parkland that is being dedicated through the various phases of the entire subdivision. So part of the parkland that will be provided is for stormwater management, and I'm not sure if there was anything else in that phase. Yeah. I think there's actually a small park in there, if I'm not mistaken, as well, and that's part of this phase.
Kevin, you want to chime in there, please?
Yeah, the parkland that would be in there would just be a link in the trails, I think, from the top bottom, from the plateau subdivision to the bottom. So I think that's why it's there, just to complete that trail link.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
thank
I'll
you.
just add, your worship, remember that this is, the parkland that is happening for phase 9 is only for the portion for phase 9 because it is a separate owner. But it's designed to link into the overarching network.
Right. Okay,
One more question, Chair.
go ahead. Yeah, yep.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Just my final one. Thank you for your indulgence. Just through you again, with regards to traffic impact, because we do know that with the subdivision that came in, 47 new homes will possibly be 47 minimum, maybe increase in vehicles. So just wanted to understand, just kind of piggybacking off of the links to the trails idea, will we have links to the existing subdivision and surrounding road network? And with that being said, in terms of signage and traffic calming, pedestrian safety, I know that with certain structures that went up recently within the past year, there were concerns with the way the roads were compared to the increase in traffic that happened. So just through you, Chair, again, to staff, could they maybe perhaps shed some light on how this may impact, and will these be something that would be connected to the surrounding current road network?
Ken,
Uh,
somebody?
Through your worship,
Please.
the phase 9 will complete the road network essentially. So right now there is an incomplete road connection across the drain. Part of what will happen with this, once it gets final registration, is that they will build and complete the road and pedestrian linkages across the drain. So that will help fill in the gaps in the road network. In terms of traffic, that would have been analyzed at the time that the overall subdivision was reviewed through the county and then given approval.
Very good. Thank you, Ken.
Excellent, thank you.
Not seeing any further questions, I will thank the presenters. Thank you very much for coming today. It was good to see both of you.
Thank you for having us.
I'll call the question. All those in favor of receiving the presentation? That is carried. Thank you so much. Why don't we take a 5-minute recess and we'll come back and start with the rest of our agenda. Okay, we'll bring the meeting back to order. First order of business is adoption of the minutes from May 6th of the council and both open and closed session meetings. Someone care to move that, please? Joan, seconded by Barb. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Reports of municipal officers. We have the Recreation Department. Kevin Green is here with us this afternoon. His first report is regarding the arena structural inspection funding update report. Kevin, I need a motion to accept this. Jim, seconded by Joan. Thank you. Kevin, please.
This report is because the first report was referred, so there's a bit more detail in this. Hopefully it clarified some of the questions from the last report that was referred. So basically, if there's any questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. Are there any questions from council? Jason, please.
What does the inspection entail, Kevin? Do they just visual, or do they pressure test stuff, or what are they, do you know, or? He walks, I would say 90% of it's visual, but the problem with the facility is those wood columns. They're starting to rot at the bottom, so he will do a hammer test and a drill test to see if how far the rot is going. We were forced on one inspection to cut one of the laminates out and put it back in with a composite material just to stop some of the rot, but he'll do fairly in depth, but it's part of its requirement, but part of it's knowing that, hey, this building's getting old. No, I get it. It's gotta be safe. I just $6,200 increase from 5 years ago. It seems like a pretty good payday. I'm still a little nervous just because Triton recommended them. Anyway, that's just an opinion.
Okay, any other questions? Martin?
Well, just from other things I've done, laminate beams, it's a totally different, there's a professional side to looking at them. And how old are the laminate beams in that place? 25?
How old are they?
Yeah.
52, 51, 52.
Well, even more to my point then, they do tend to separate. And so there has to be a visual even up high all the way down. So if these people are recommended and they know that kind of work, then they should be hired.
RV Anderson's done it since 2003. Triton's recommended him just because he's done it. The first year he come in, we actually solicited RV Anderson. RV Anderson also did structural inspection for the old town hall for us in the past. It's just Triton wants some money too, I guess. So their recommendation now is to keep following up with RV. I don't even know if RV Anderson is associated with Triton. They just want that same person doing it. So we get kind of the same results or the same look. For us to all of a sudden up and change from somebody, I assume RV Anderson should be retired probably by now. He's doing this, I would assume, more as a favor. To keep in line with the previous ones, but we run a very serious risk of changing companies at this point to a different result in the facility. And I'm not saying RV Anderson isn't going to come in and have the same result. He's not going to cut any corners. He never has. It's just the history of him doing that report. He knows what that building's doing, what it's done for the last 20 years. I assume that's more why Triton wants to recommend them. As far as the price, every one of my bills are coming in this year probably 2,000 higher than they were even last year. So it's COVID has inflated everybody's cost of doing business. But like I said, my recommendation, stick with them. Let's see what we get out of them.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Jason?
I get what you're saying, Kevin. So to that point, why did we only put 2,000 in the budget when it was 3,200 last time, knowing that it would go up. Like we just wonder why we only budgeted for that much. And so this is the same person that did a bunch of the reports on the town hall.
He did,
That's a bit,
one
that's a
inspection.
bit concerning to me, but anyhow, I'll leave it at
No,
that.
he did it, and then we didn't accept his structural report. And then we went to another company because they didn't like the results that RB Anderson presented to us, because his was $4 million to replace that building, and no one would believe his numbers. I would believe his numbers more than anyone else's, honestly, but the reason I budget it this way is because it's a 5-year one. If I put the cost in, then I inflate the annual increase in the budget. So when I budget, I increase my budget by 2% or whatever comes to me. The 2,000 that's in there, that is from recreation and maintenance. So I'm not inflating my budget for a one purpose. Really, honestly, if I was to do the budgeting, I would have this as a capital expense as to not inflate a budget. And then next year take it out. And then all of a sudden we're at a 2% decrease in recreation funding, which we're actually not, because we're inflating the budget on one single purchase. But that's why I do it that way, and then take it out of reserves. But I don't know, maybe Taylor's gonna yell at me for doing it this way, but at least I know every year my budget goes up 2%. And it's not inflated because of one purchase.
Joan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We know that with COVID and with tariffs and with what is going on in the world now, there is going to be an increase in everything. It seems like it's a big drum, but when it comes to the structure, the older building and all of that, we can look at it in a lot of different ways, but we need to be safe, and safety is first. And even though it seems like it is a lot with the complexity and the professional requirements and all of that, I just know that higher or lower, this is something that we have to get done. So thanks again for the report.
Joan? Barb?
Thank you, and through you. Thank you, Kevin. I understand the need to use someone who has a history with the history of the building. 22, 23 years of, every 5 years of inspecting it, they will be able, RB Anderson will know what they are looking for, as well as looking at progression of other beams. If we were to hire someone not RV Anderson, go out to an RFP, they would be starting from scratch. They would have to be inspecting every single inch of the building, starting over, and it would likely be significantly more than the 7,000 plus the 2,000 that's in there. So I understand how you do your budgeting, and there's money in the reserves for these assessments. So yeah, I'm in full favor of sticking with someone that we know that knows the building. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Not seeing any. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Kevin. Oh, I see you got another report here regarding the auditorium sport floor RFP with a recommendation. Someone care to move that, please? Jim, seconded by Joan. Thank you. Kevin, please.
Yeah, the report's there. This is just sort of a continuation. We were kind of waiting on time from the renovation to see when we should be putting a sports floor down, if we're still getting weddings, buck and does and whatever. To see if we're still getting weddings and buck and does, we probably wouldn't be going with this style flooring, but since we finished the renovations, we've had 0 buck and does upstairs. And with pickleball taking off and everything else, we need to get to a sports flooring that is designed for play. If not, we're probably setting ourselves up for liability issues.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Barb?
Thank you. And through you, in relation to the previous report, what you budgeted for this project and it coming in under budget will more than offset the increase by RV Anderson.
Does putting this floor in place, I'm just thinking of your comments earlier in your report, does it preclude using it for a buck and doe or an anniversary or any other type of event like that, or?
No, the flooring we put down is a vinyl flooring with a rubber base. It'll make it a little softer for
Right.
dancing on, but
Yep.
it is sealed seams. So if there is a spill or anything, we can still take the floor scrubber over it. We can still clean it.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions? Not seeing any. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. And I hardly see Kevin looking for money any time of the year. And now I see he's got 3 reports in a row looking for money. So it's good that he's getting Management Software Solutions, RFP. Barb will move that. Seconder? Martin, thank you. Kevin?
This is kind of a multi-department report, really. No one else wanted to write it, so they told me to write it. So in the budget, we look for recreation software. We lose our recreation website in August, so that was the communication tool for the community to see what was available, what wasn't. Our bookings is through Keystone now, and it's not a web base, so no one can see our bookings. And we're hoping that this new software will help alleviate some of our liability issues, that the community can sign up. They sign, so if we have a program, they'll sign up through this software, sign all our waivers, all our agreements, our concussion policy and everything. And they can sign up for our programs through this website. So that saves Ethan time in doing bookings and programming right now and registration through pen and paper. It saves the municipality, the arena, from doing pen and paper bookings, and everyone can see what's out there. So really, it's bringing us from 1985 into year 2026. So
very good.
We'll try and see. It is the cheaper version. Staff went back and forth on them, but because it's a software subscription, they go up by an incremental amount every year. If we don't like this software after 5 years, we reset, and it'll probably be cheaper in 5 years to reset it because the 2% may kick back down. So we're going to try this software. It's the cheaper one. I think it has as many options included in it, if not more, but we'll try it for 5 years and see if it solves our problems.
Very good. In chatting with Ethan briefly, this program does not demand that everyone must use it to book a space, correct? You could still have the option of.
We can still. Yes, there's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of people that don't want to do it this way, but they can certainly book it through us.
Right.
And we can enter the properties in. So
because not everybody
we're still going to have a staff member operating the software. And that was included in the hiring in the budget for a new recreation employee. We're hoping that 10% of that employee's time will go to the software, and the balance would go to helping Ethan run programs. If this is heavy on time, it means less time for Ethan in programming. So it's a learning curve for us. none of us have worked with recreation software, so again, that's kind of why we lean to the one that's $30,000 or 20,000 cheaper over 5 years.
For sure. Okay, any questions? Jason?
So this is for like ice rental, hall rental, everything? I wasn't sure. I thought it was.
Yes.
Okay. No.
Program rentals.
Yeah, I wasn't sure you just meant programs or just
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Any other questions? Barb?
Thank you. Through you, to clarify, at the recreation open house, you mentioned this new software and that people sign up for, I guess, a user ID and password. Once they have complied with all of the safety policies and can cut like, and will that carry forward? That's kind of a benefit to having them have a login ID and password. Some people are not comfortable creating another membership, basically. Can you just elaborate on how a resident would access the system?
So my understanding is they just access it through the website. So they would come to our municipal website, Township of Southgate, and embedded into our existing website, you would click on register for a program. And once you hit register for a program, it'll say create your ID. Once you create your ID in there, and I assume that's the time you check off your concussion, your waivers and everything. And then you can register for that program. As far as the facilities, same thing, you would have to create that profile. It may be a different profile for registering. But once you register, then you can book with the facilities. Once you register it, it links to our pay system. So you just click on it that you register with the program. It transfers the funds directly into our accounting software. So we don't have that person collecting cash anymore. So it's should be way easier. And yes, the concerns that some of the seniors had, that's why we would have that staff. They could phone us, they can create that profile for them. And once that profile is in there, or perhaps we can create a community profile and they can book through it. I'm not 100% sure, but there's ways that we will certainly help or get them booked in. We're not going to lose bookings over this by any means. It should actually create bookings because everyone can see what facility is open at what time and click on it and book it.
Lindsay, Madam Clerk.
I'll just add to maybe ease council. It'll be like any of our systems. I'll take burn permitting for instance, it's now all fully online, but if there's someone that doesn't have access to a computer or has troubles, they can still get paper-based copy. Staff can help them. So this will be a learning curve for the community, but we're hoping that with that admin person there to support that the transition can be easier, but we are definitely going to be pushing people to use it as much as we can. But always, yeah, we can help anyone that doesn't have access or needs that extra assistance.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions? Call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Kevin. Economic Development Department. Brenna, welcome. And you have a report here regarding the South Grade Chamber of Commerce MOU. Someone here to move.
Chair, sorry, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to declare pecuniary interest because I was just thinking about it. And I was on the board, but that was as of April. So I think it's still kind of close to when I was on.
Are you still on the board?
I'm not any longer since April, but I feel like it might be still too close. Do you think?
Well, it's until your call, whatever you want.
I think maybe I'll sit this one out if that's okay. Just to be err on the side of caution. Sorry, Lindsay.
Nope, that's fair.
No worries. Thank you.
The clerk will make note of that. Thank you. Where was it? Oh, I need a motion to approve this. Martin, second by Jim. Thank you. Brenna, welcome.
Thank you and good afternoon, council. This report and recommendation follows up on the direction made by council to staff on February 18th about our Chamber of Commerce MOU coming to an end on December 31st of this year. After surveying businesses and discussing with the other municipalities that are party to the MOU, our recommendation is that we do not renew the current memorandum of understanding, and that's due to low engagement with the activities on the memorandum of understanding by our businesses. But at the same time, even though we will be not renewing this memorandum of understanding, our businesses will still be within the catchment area of the Southbury Chamber of Commerce. So they will still be able to participate in the chamber, become members, and so on. And we also recommend that council refer the chamber to other sources of community funding. We have amazing sources of funding available through our community fund, our grants and donation policy. So if they're looking for funding for events that are really popular in the community, like the Kite Festival, that's a good option for them. So I'll leave it at that. And if you have any other questions about my report and the survey results, I'm happy to answer.
Very good. Thank you, Brenna.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Barb.
Thank you, and through you to Brenna. Thank you, Brenna. Some of the items that were included in the MOU included coffee with the mayor, those types of events. I always saw as very economic development department kind of driven, also are important to our community. Will those continue under your umbrella?
Thank you, and through you. Events like the Coffee with the Mayor, our staff have been doing a lot of the organization on that with the chamber. So I think we're comfortable doing that kind of engagement activity in future if it's what our businesses and council want. So that's very much something we can do. Other things we won't be able to do. So we won't be able to do a business awards in the same way that it's been done between the 4 municipalities. So that's something that we're not going to be able to pay into as part of the MOU, but other things that are simpler, like Coffee with the Mayor, will definitely keep going. And obviously part of the MOU also included tourism activities, and we are doing those tourism activities on our own through our tourism booth, and we're so fortunate to have summer students that support us in tourism information as well.
Good. Any other questions? Martin, please.
Brenna, page 2 of your report, one paragraph, it says, staff suggests that some type of informal local groups to support events and beautification. Since it also said there was a lack of strong support, do you think there'd be enough support from the business owners for a BIA? And does that have to be chartered like a Chamber of Commerce?
Thanks for your question, and through you. I tried to kind of verify in the survey, include the definitions. The issue with the BIA, there was interest in the survey in a BIA, but you also have to look at a lot of the people who respond to the survey are home-based businesses, and a BIA is really made through an extension of the municipality, and it's formed through a levy of the businesses within a commercial area. So that's the issue. It sounds great and it would help with events and beautification, but I think it is really challenging, especially with economics
the Economic Times right now to, try to get businesses to buy into that levy, and it would be property owners. Right? So that's why I'm suggesting something that's more informal. If we can motivate businesses through, our grants and donation policies or groups that are wanting to do events. Obviously, we had for example, the Trick or Eat event is a great event, and it's coordinated with a lot of businesses in the area, and we're able to support that event through our grants and donations. So that's why I'm saying informal, so that the township can support where possible, but we don't necessarily have to impose a levy or organize the committee. But we can, help to obviously provide support for those that are wanting to do those activities on their own.
Thank you. And I didn't realize there was a levy for the BIA, so
Okay. I will call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Brenna. Moving on to the planning department. We have a report here from planning regarding streamlining public school approvals. Someone care to move that, please? Jim, seconded by Monica. Thank you. Ken, welcome.
Thank you, your worship. For the sake of time, I'm going to be fairly brief. This is yet another provincial request for comment or potential regulation to streamline school approvals. Essentially, it would exempt publicly funded K-12 schools from the requirements in the zoning bylaw for everything from setbacks, building height, density, and parking. It would maintain that we could still use site plan control, but it would severely limit the ability to apply conditions for things like landscaping and lighting on school grounds. It would also exempt small additions and would not apply to any K-12 school publicly funded that is co-located with community facilities. We have met as a coordinated staff team to put together proposed comments to submit to the province, which are in the attachment. The main concerns we have is the implications that the building could go beyond the maximum building height. As the deputy mayor noted earlier, we have limited fire equipment. We're waiting for that new truck to come. And if a school can go beyond the minimum, it might even negate what equipment we're waiting to purchase. We also have concerns that if a school doesn't have to provide parking, how is that going to work? Where do the buses go? Where do the teachers park? In my opinion, I can't see a school board not providing parking because most K-12 schools are also including a daycare, but then that becomes a cumulative issue. And it also begs the question, what kind of communities are we building where we put schools that have no parking and create these offsite implications, let alone why are we having a war on trees and shade for students who probably would like to have some on very hot days like yesterday. We have made some, we've already taken some preliminary steps in terms of some of the things that the province has suggested in terms of changes to our site plan control bylaw for portables and allowing for minor additions. The province is suggesting 15% of total building area. We actually exempted 10, so we're most of the way there. But for that, we've put together comments for submission, and we're happy to take any further comments from council and to discuss this matter further.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate your comments in the report.
Oh,
I can't.
One thing I did want to mention just very quickly, and this is anecdotally to a comment from the deputy mayor previously about how much time we're expending this year in relation to all of this. So I did a little back of pocket math.
Cowboy.
If my math is correct, we've accumulated, and this is the planning team total, about 24 hours of staff time, which is about $8,600 in wages and consulting hours, which represents 2.5% of the total wages and consulting budget combined. That's an estimate and doesn't include Dustin, our deputy, our chief building official and our fire chief, who are also available if there are any questions related to this matter.
So again, thank you, Ken. And I can't help but think that in 10 years, when we have parking problems potentially at the school, somebody might say, well, did nobody ask the question? Well, we weren't allowed to ask the question because of this kind of legislative changes that are being imposed on us. So I think it's good that we're pushing back. Thank you so much for
Well,
doing that.
And if I may, your worship, just to make John feel better, I forgot to include him in the back of pocket math. But also, I would just say that that's what planning is about, is planning for the future.
Right.
And this really starts to
Exactly.
be counterintuitive.
Exactly. Okay, Barb, please.
Thank you. 9 people on this report had a look at this report. So thank you for, and so your estimate is just based on 3 people in the planning department. I have to question how much more streamlining Southgate could have done to expedite the new school, given that the province took at least 5 years to approve the funding. And up until a couple of months ago, and the funding was announced in May of 2024, and up until maybe 2 months ago, they are still working on the purchase and sale agreement. We're ready with permit in hand. We're ready to working on the site plan already. We've done everything to expedite this 3-year build. And through no fault of ours, it's delayed. So kudos to staff for spending 24 hours. And we only need, and as far as parking is concerned, we only need to use the example of the Dundalk Proton Community School on traffic congestion and safety issues that we have been experiencing for years at that school that goes from JK to grade 2. This lack of taking a rural lens and parking and let's just build like they do in Toronto just doesn't work. And I'm not sure how we get that message across to our provincial counterparts that we're doing everything that we can to expedite a new school for our community and have been advocating for it, working with the school board for years. Anyway, thank you for your pushback again. I just don't know how we get it through that some of the changes that they think will streamline things will only create problems in the future.
Any other comments or questions? Martin?
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Ken, page 2 of your report. I know this is publicly funded, but do any of these, any of these things you're putting into place, would that affect collaterally the other schools in the community, like the Mennonite schools? Or would it affect any zoning for them? I don't think it would it? Being publicly, but.
Through your worship, unless they fall into this publicly funded concept, then I would say they will not.
Well, that's good too. Okay.
They wouldn't be impacted.
Okay. And then there's one bullet here. It says the site plan control for publicly funded could not include the provision of lighting, flood lighting, trees, hedges on the landscape. And then it says, note, the province indicates that school boards may still need to meet municipal bylaws. So if we still wanted dark sky lighting, the board would have to say, this is municipal, we're gonna do contrary to what it says, what the government would want to say.
Through your worship, I think we'll have to see how any OREG comes out on that. Because certainly when I was reading that, I had to read it about 6 times and kept going, I don't understand what this really means, because it seems to mean 2 different things that cancel each other out. So I would just say we'll have to watch what the OREG actually says. I wouldn't be surprised if in the end it just says whatever the municipality thinks it could do, you can't do. Given the pattern that we've been seeing.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on to the next planning report, we have a zoning bylaw amendment regarding Noah S. Martin on Southgate Road 10 Incorporated. Victoria, this is yours. I need a mover. Jason and Jim will second. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And I'll try and be quick as well. I just like to make sure everything's covered, but it's about 7,980 square meters for an OFDU area, about 420 for a workshop, 75 square meters for a power room, and about just shy of 500 square meters for some outdoor storage as well. You're quite familiar now with how it would be secondary to the agricultural use. In this regard, the as of right rules for OFDUs, the appeal period did pass, but these 2 files are unique where they require some feedback or some relief for the setbacks to the wetland zone. So for just to give some context, this lot's about south of Southgate Road 10, about 40 hectares as well. It's about it's near some wetlands within a wooded area, southeast portion of the lot. Having naturalized areas south and east of the subject lands. There's some nearby agricultural areas, existing OFDUs as well, and then some smaller rural residential lots located northeast of the subject lands as well. There are comments received on page 4 of staff's report. No concerns from Enbridge Gas, Historic Saugeen Métis, and SBCA. Township Public Works did advise that safe access can be provided and a commercial entrance is required. GRCA advised that the development is outside of their regulated area, so have no objection. And Grey County Ecology staff did indicate that the proposed would maintain their 30-meter setback and an EIS would be waived. So based on staff's report, we believe it complies with the rural designation for OFDUs in the township and county official plan. Again, the proposed rezoned area in Salborn are less than about 120 meters from the wetland zone, and as required by section 5.25 of our zoning bylaw or the township zoning bylaw, GRCA does not object and SPCA does not have any concerns with the proposed. Again, it's small scale dry industrial will remain secondary to the principal agricultural use. There's also proposed Salborn accessory shed farmhouse to be constructed in concert with the OFDU as well. And then there were some MDS calculations submitted. So they're quite a ways. They're about 150 meters from a dwelling to the northwest, and they're proposing some buffering and screening as well. To make sure it complies with D6 guidelines, site plan approval is required as well. Happy to take any questions on this one.
Very good. Thank you, Victoria. Are there any questions? Call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. The next report is also from Victoria. It's regarding a zoning bylaw amendment for Eli M. Bauman. Someone care to move that, please? Jim, seconded by Martin. Thank you. Victoria.
Thank you. Again, another OFDU. They're asking for an increase from 500 square meters to 750. About 460 square meters of outdoor storage, just over 5,000 square meters for the rezoned or operating area as well.
some context, they're on the west side of Gray Road 23, about 32 hectares in lot area. They have some wetland along the eastern lot line as well and continued south to the naturalized area. They have a current 500 square meter shop constructed between 2020 and 2025. And they're about 1 kilometer west of some smaller rural residential lots as well. And West Gray is about 1.5 kilometers to the north. We have some comments on page 4 as well. Enbridge Gas and Saugeen Valley had no concerns. Township Public Works advised safe access can be provided. And then, of course, the road standard and entrance requirements are under Gray County. Gray County had no concerns. Ecology staff also indicated that any impacts would be negligible, and requirement for an EIS is waived as well. And County Transportation Services did state that the proposed entrance will need to be upgraded to a CSAS commercial entrance as well. Again, the small scale dry industrial works would be secondary to the principal agricultural use. As required by provincial policy and guidelines. It meets the separation for D6 as well. And there's some proposed buffering that will be included in site plan approval. Happy to answer any questions on this one as well.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any questions? Barb?
Thank you. And through you, this addition to a 500 square meter, so that was previously approved as an OFDU.
This was, sorry, through you, no, this was not approved as an OFDU previously. I think it was just a storage possibly, and then converted into a shop. So we brought into compliance as an OFDU with a rezoned area, and then the farm cluster would have to be established before they could continue use.
I see. Thank you.
Any other questions? Not seeing any, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Victoria. Public Works Department. John has a report here, 2 reports actually, well, 1 now. Regarding Public Works Tender Award recommendations. Someone care to move that, please? Barb, seconded by Joan. Thank you. John?
Thank you. Through the chair, this report is just seeking council's approval of awarding a single axle plow truck to Lewis Motor Sales for $430,130. A 4-door crew cab pickup to Trillium Ford Lincoln in the amount of $66,663. And a 4-door SUV to Orangeville Honda in the amount of $41,800. I'll just kind of highlight, mention it in the financial impacts. The single axle plow was $130,000 more than we had budgeted for. But if you compare the tandem that we purchased in 2025, it was $422,000. So this single axle is $8,000 more than a tandem was last year.
Because of course it is. Is that all, John?
Happy
All
to
right.
take any questions.
Any questions? Okay, then. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. I could see a bit of pain in that one. So 9.4.2 was pulled. So we're on to the Finance Department. Thank you, John, for your report. Taylor has a report here regarding tax adjustments. Someone care to move that, please? Barb will move that. Martin will second it. Taylor, please.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. So there were 2 properties that applied for the section 357, 358 write-off of taxes, and both were due to small fires on the properties.
Okay, then. Any questions from council? Did I get a mover and seconder? I did. There we go. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Taylor. Oh, we got another report here. Don't go away. This is regarding a request for DC deferral from Southgate Renewables. So someone care to move that, please? Jim, seconded by Martin. Ken, you want to take that?
Yeah, through your worship, I'll be the primary presenter.
Very
Taylor
good.
Can jump in if I miss anything, but as you mentioned, this is a request from Southgate Renewables to defer their DCs. As council is aware, the province has mandated deferral for residential development through changes through the Development Charges Act. And so all of our residential development is deferring the payment of their DCs until occupancy. We had a recent request for a commercial project, which council granted, but ever since recent discussion and funding from the federal government, we have been receiving numerous calls for commercial and industrial DC deferrals. And the concern that staff have, which we presented in this report, is if residential is being deferred, then and we start deferring commercial and industrial, who is paying DCs? And we have a number of projects and equipment like the new fire truck that need to be funded through these DCs. And if we have no cookies in the cookie jar, then that basically puts it onto municipal debt. And I know Taylor is overly thrilled about talking about adding to our debt. So we are not recommending that the DCs be deferred. We are also suggesting, for the sake of making staff's life a little bit easier in talking with these folks who keep calling, that you make a blanket resolution at this point that Township Council would not support deferral of non-residential DCs. We've also added a motion because I have a suspicion this issue is going to be coming down the pipe from the province, that we would bring back a report to you if suddenly the province was deciding to give direction or suddenly made changes to the DC Act that might, I will just say, negate a blanket resolution of no support. I'll just note, I think Lindsay has some minor modifications to the resolution so that we don't tie all of it to the specific request, which was my fault in punctuation was never my strong suit. But we do have an alternative option in the report that council could consider, which is to allow deferral of 50%. So what that would do is Southgate Renewables would still have to pay the other 50% at the appropriate time, and then the 50% would be deferred to occupancy. We are suggesting, for the sake of consistency, that despite what has been requested, we follow what we had done the last time, which was defer to occupancy, just to be consistent with the direction that the province is setting up. And I will just remind council that your decision only applies to township development charges. The county has advised that based on their preliminary assessment, there would be no exemption or deferral possibility of their DCs either.
Okay,
Happy to take questions.
thank you, Ken. Just before we go there, Ken, what is the approximate value of this project? Did you find that number?
I did, and Phil is online. He might get to it before I do because I wrote it down the other day. 22 million-ish, plus or minus.
Does that sound right, Phil?
Yes, that's correct.
Very good.
So-
Just for context, I wanted to know what the value of the project was compared to the DCs.
Yeah, and the requested DC would be 1.49% of the estimated construction value.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Phil. Madam Clerk, you have a little clarification for us here.
Yeah, so just the way that it was worded, I didn't catch it when we were doing the agenda, but we don't want to tie a blanket resolution to Southgate Renewables. So we're going to split the vote if that's okay with council. So we'll have a motion to split the vote first, and then the first one would be that we receive it for information, and the second clause there, related to the Southgate renewables would be one motion. And then we'd do a second motion for the blanket, deferral. So it's on the screen there, behind you. Monica, you should be able to read that. So
Yep.
just a little bit procedurally, just so that,
Yep.
should council, support the blanket, motion, that it's not tied to the decision about the Southgate renewables file specifically,
So we first need a motion.
if that makes sense.
We need a mover and a seconder to split the motion and vote on the last two clauses
Yes,
separately.
that's right. So that
Someone
would be
care-
on the floor. first.
Martin will do that. Jim will do the seconding it. Any questions on what we're doing here? It's just to split the vote clearly. Yeah. Okay, I'll call a vote. All those in favor? That is carried. So now I need a mover and seconder to deny the request, at least the recommendation is to deny the request by Loft Planning acting for Southgate Renewables.
I can read it if you'd like.
Sure, please.
So this one would be it resolved that staff report finance 2026-022 be received for information, and that council deny the request by Loft Planning on behalf of Southgate Renewables for deferral of the township development charges.
Very good.
That's the first one.
Someone care to move that, please? Jason and Martin will second. I can't fault Southgate Renewables for asking the question. If you don't ask, you don't get. But on the other hand, I think Ken's reasoning resonates with me anyway, that can't deny everybody. Any questions, discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Third and final motion, Madam Clerk, if
Yep.
you would read that one, please.
So the next one, be it resolved that council not support requests for deferral of development charges for any non-residential projects, and that council directs staff to bring back a report should any provincial legislation changes or direction be provided for deferral of non-residential development charges.
Very good. Thank you. Someone care to move that? Martin will move that. Jim will second. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Just like that. Just like that. Moving on to legislative services, the clerk has a couple, 3, 4 dozen reports. Oh, Holly's going to take this one. This one is regarding the Dundalk Homecoming Committee is looking for facility usage and rental fees relief. Regarding a letter that they had submitted to the clerk's department. So, anybody care to move that, please? Barb will move that. Monica will second. Any discussion, or Holly, do you want to go through the report, please?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Just we received a request for the homecoming committee for a number of buildings and facilities in the township. Historically, we have waived fees for the homecoming event, so we're just recommending that. Additionally, we're requesting that it be declared municipally significant. Then we're not having to come back to do that for their liquor license in the future.
Perfect. Any discussion? Barb?
More, thank you, through you, more of a procedural question. Fully supportive of the homecoming, love the fact that they're planning ahead. And, it's an event that happens every 10 years, and it brings back people and their families. So fully supportive. The question is if an organization is holding an event that is free for all in one of our facilities and is related to a community celebration, is it a simple act of sending in a request and letting council decide to waive the fee?
I think historically that's what we've done. Maybe I can defer to Kevin if he has anything to add about what's been done in the past or what the best process is.
Kevin?
In the past, we'd gone that way. I'm just trying to look at if it's under the secondary provider where the event has to be. Thought there was a declaration or something in here that stated that it has to be municipally significant to the whole community with benefit to the community, but I can't really find that right now. But I know in the past, I did look it back up. We did waive 50% of the fees for the community center. We charged them, I think, $1,700 for the whole weekend just to cover toilet paper and all that cost or whatever. But in this case, we've reap the benefit from some of the profits from the event too. So I think it's a wash one way or the other. We charge them and not maybe get that donation back, or we get the donation back, and just as long as there's a committee member around that hears that we're asking for a donation back to help cover some of the costs.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? It is exciting to hear the homecoming is coming up. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Holly. Moving on to the next report from the clerk, with the clerk back in the chair. This one is regarding bring your own or BYO events. Someone care to move that, please? Jason will move that. Joan will second. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. As for you, Mayor Milne, this one was effective as of April 30th. So we just wanted to bring this to council. So this was changes that the province made to expand the eligibility for people to bring in their own alcohol to events. So I've tried to include as much information as I could in the report. The municipality is under no obligation to do this. It has to, if we wanted to do it, we would have to do the bylaw, but we don't have to. So staff are recommending that we don't, just with liability and a bunch of things that could come up if this were to be the case and were to be allowed. So that's our recommendation right now. And that's what a lot of other municipalities we're seeing are also doing. So I guess I'll just take questions if there are any at this point.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. So a question I've had since this legislation was or is put in place by the province. So if somebody was to have a BYO permit for a dance, say at the arena, can someone literally come in the door with a 2-4 under their arm? Like, is that what this is?
Sorry, Kevin, did you want to?
My interpretation is it's not for facilities, it's outdoor events and have
Like
to be
tailgating.
declared. Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's
So I was almost thinking it's a throwback to times past.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're not going there, or at least we're being proposed to not go there. So Mark, please, do you have anything else?
I was just gonna add that in that situation, yes, it's more for parks and stuff like that, but also the municipality would have to deem it as a cultural or community event.
Right.
as
Right.
well.
Which they all are.
Could be.
Of course. Of course they are. Martin, please.
No, just a comment. When I first saw it in the agenda, when it first came out, I said to myself, how many significant events have died because of extra security? And so I went from that, and I was so glad to see municipal risk and responsibility, no matter what happens. Individuals are responsible for bringing their own alcohol, but then if they get too gone, then they're not liable, and we are. Well, they'll fight it, right?
Yeah.
So I was glad to see those additions on page 2. So
Yeah.
I support this for sure.
Any other comments? I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Next report from the clerk's department is a revision of the disposition of land bylaw. Someone care to move that, please? Barb and Jim, thank you. Lindsay?
Thank you, through you, Mayor Milne. This one has been a big work in progress. We had our planning consultant, Bill, do a bit of work on this, and then we've been going back and forth with our legal counsel, really just bringing it up to date. Our old bylaw was 2008 and just didn't reflect our current practices anymore. So we've tried to make it pretty streamlined and follow what we do now, and just provide some clarity around the roles and how we move through the process of purchasing and disposing of land. So the bylaws included there in the bylaw section, but we're looking for approval and believe this is this bylaw is in a good spot now.
Very good. Thank you, Lindsay. Questions, comments? Call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Next and final report from the clerk's department is regarding the Dundalk Medical Building lease agreements of the various tenants in that new building, or not new building, new to us building. Someone care to move that, please? Jim will move that. Joan will second. Lindsay, please.
Thank you. Yeah, so this has been a work in progress. So we did close on the building on May 6th. And so now we've just been working with the tenants directly. We met with a few of them in person and have arranged and spoke to the rest on the phone and on email, but we tried to keep the lease agreements as simple as possible, and we honored the Lions Club wishes of keeping their rental rates the same, which is what council had committed to. So just working on finalizing these with the tenants. So just need this approval, and then yeah, that's where those are at right now. But we've
Great.
officially taken over the building. Kevin has. I don't know if he has any more comments on that, but yeah, just this kind of last step of getting everything in place.
Very good. Thank you, Lindsay. Are there any questions, comments? Joan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Lindsay, tenants, how many tenants do we have?
So 6. So there's the clinic, so the CHC, the dental office, there's chiropractor, the massage therapist, the Lions Club themselves are now tenants because they still have their room in the basement area. And then another lady uses a spot for her business. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Barb?
Thank you, and forgive me if I can't remember. Is there a cost of living increase?
Yes. Thank you. We put that in there.
Okay, call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Lindsay. 2 reports from the HR department, and then maybe we'll have a quick break. First is a report regarding policy 55, which is our volunteer and student placement policy. Someone care to move that, please? Barb, seconded by Martin. Thank you. Kayla, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. This policy, we have updated it to be in line with current guidelines and to mitigate some risk that we had identified. We also added some student placement guidelines to the same policy, since they are very similar to our volunteers. Just one note that I did have, in the waiver sign off, we are going to do a friendly amendment just to have a parent or guardian. So if the person is under 18, that they can also sign off on that. And I would take any questions.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any questions, comments? Not seeing any. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Next HR report is regarding policy 22, the vehicle use and safety policy, and the updates that are being proposed there. Someone care to move? Jim, seconded by Monica. Yep, second that. Thank you. Kayla.
Thank you. Again, we reviewed this policy. This one mainly was due to the CRA and their classification of personal mileage to make sure we are really capturing that and following those guidelines. So we've updated those and then we went ahead and made some other updates just because we're already looking at the policy. So we might as well put it in line with current guidelines. I'll
Very
take
good.
questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Not seeing any, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Kayla. It is 3:00. Why don't we recess for a few minutes and then we'll come back and deal with a notice of motion. Meeting back to order. We have a notice of motion here from the deputy mayor. She indicated that she hoped that everyone has read this, and I'm sure they have. So I presume, Barb, you'll move this?
I so move.
Is there a seconder for this note? Jason will second it. Barb, I'll let you speak to it first.
Thank you. And honestly, I think with Mr. Billings coming and delegating to us earlier about the plight of the LCOs across Ontario, the inequities that have occurred with the new grocery, gas, and convenience store outlets, I think the motion is simply to help add our voice and elevate it a little bit more. I'm glad to hear that they have, or he and the other stores have the support of each other, so I'll leave it at that.
Very good. Thank you, Barb. Is there anyone with any questions or comments regarding the notice of motion? Not seeing any. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Very good. Consent agenda. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items there. Does anyone wish any of those to be removed? Martin?
11.5.
11.5, all right. Anyone else? 11.2. Okay, be it resolved that council receives consent agenda dated May 20th, 2026, save and accept items 11.2 and 11.5 for further or for information. Someone care to move that, please? Joan and Jim. All those in favor? That is carried. So we'll take them in order of requests. So 11.5, Martin, are you proposing to support that, or do you want to just?
No, I was gonna put a notice of motion to support it.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there a seconder for that? John will second it. Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, well, it's good to get these before the agenda of the meeting. And this one stuck out like a sore thumb because with the excuse me, with the federal and the the provincial taking away the HST to start building, getting the people, especially the first time home buyers. When I saw this, I did a bit of digging into it, and apparently it started in 1970, and I was talking with Taylor about it, it helped a lot of the territories up north, unincorporated. They could use it as tax money because it didn't have much of a tax base. Same with the little municipalities, but it's still putting a lot of expense on the buyer, first time home buyer especially. And it's because it's from 1970, it's just way out of the times. It's asking not to get rid of it, but to make it more current. And there was one with all the growth in Toronto, I looked into that. And I guess because Toronto has its own act, they actually apply a municipal land sales tax on top of the provincial one. So a first time homeowner there is going to get hit twice, the buyer. So I think it's just a reasonable thing to do to make everybody aware that it is appropriate. Because in actual fact, I was looking at the news 2 days ago, and there's a real estate association saying up to 50% of new homes last year were bought by people who already had homes. So is that equity that got them in there? And then they just rented them out.
Right.
And then you have the generational wealth where they had a house or two or bought a house for cash and then rented it out. And first time home buyers only accounted for 12%. So anything you can do to help them out, I think is worthwhile.
For sure.
And I think it says it could be up to 8,000. That Toronto example, I think it was for $1 million home and there was up like $26,000 they had to pay in land tax. So if you take 8 off that, it's a help.
Yep, for sure. Any other comments, questions? Call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. 11.2, it's a report regarding the finance department update. Is someone wanting to move that? Barb will move that, seconded by Martin. Thank you. Taylor or Barb? Taylor, do you want to speak to the report or?
Yep. Yeah, so I just wanted to give an update on the finance department, some major accomplishments as I'd like to see them. Obviously, there are some maybe alarming figures in there in regards to how much of our AR on property taxation is outstanding, but we are kind of whittling that number down. And then we are wrapping up the 2024 audit. So KPMG is going to present on June 3rd. And then we're going right into the 2025 audit. So after that point, we will be current and everything's gravy. I love that.
Love your optimism.
It's music to my accounting ears. So yeah, so if council has any questions or comments on the report or concerns, I'm happy to answer any.
Very good. Barb.
Thank you. And through you, Taylor, with regard to the taxation arrears, and kudos to staff for bringing that down $1 million. What is the percentage? If I recall, it's best or less risk, low risk, if a municipality is less than 10% of revenue, taxation revenue in arrears, which it's not uncommon for there to be delays, especially with MPAC and all of that. But what does this equal?
So yeah, so the ideal number that MMH would see as low risk would be 8% and lower for that. We are today at around 18%. So that is significant. And I don't take that number lightly. Obviously, we're working hard to get away from that. That has been since 2022, our number has been around 17% and kind of climbing. So but we're working hard to get that down. I know that that's concerning both at this level and also at the Ontario level. But I have confidence that we can do it, and it's a lot of staff time to get through those tax registrations, and that is the majority of what our arrears are, going back years and years. We also have Real Tax, who is our supporter, and they do the tax registration process for us. They will only take so many applications at a time because we have such a backlog of it. We did send 142 properties. That was kind of on their higher end that they were willing to accept. We have about another 100 that we could send. So we're planning to kind of start that process in the next few weeks for our next, I guess, cohort. And then ideally that will come down more so that people don't get to the end of that process. The problem is that that process does take a long time before we can get to the actual tax registration part. That's about 3 months from now, so.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Through you. So we know that when someone assumes a house, I don't know if they don't realize that they're supposed to pay property taxes, but it also takes MPAC time to catch up. And then it takes 2 years of arrears before it can go to property tax sale, real tax. So I'm just wondering, are people finding themselves in arrears because of catch up So when they get their notice of assessment and all of a sudden they owe 2 years catch up, because, and that's no fault of our staff or them, but how can we better educate our new home owners in Southgate that what the ramifications are to not paying their taxes on time?
So in the last tax newsletter, we did put a big section on tax registration. We have spoken to the developers to try and push that at time of sale or time of purchase, I guess we call it, or deposit. It's kind of difficult. Like I can't push somebody to pay their taxes, right? Yeah. And then the other caveat to that too is obviously the impact. So when people get their supplemental tax bill, it can be for 2 to 3 years. If they get that bill in December, come January, it's already considered arrears because the system turns over yearly, not just after a year when they were billed. So that number is kind of, it's easy to look at that number and be like, wow, that's crazy. You have $6 million in arrears, but some of those people, a lot of that at December 31st was maybe a third arrears, but now it's 100% arrears come January 1st. So just that delineation is good to remember as well. I'm open to suggestions on how to get more education into the public. We do have a new resident PDF like form on the website that people can go to and that I know staff members have directed people to when they call in. Yeah, so I don't really know what side of that.
Okay.
And then there's the aspect of people who just play the system too, where they know that they have, I don't know, 2 years, then they get notified. So then they pay up. So they're just running the game. It just, we can't do, staff are doing a great job. Don't get me wrong. This is not, this isn't staff issue. Well, it is a staff issue. It becomes a staff issue, but it's not for lack of trying. And this revenue is all that we have at our fingertips, at our disposal to pay for the recreation and the facilities and the roads and the snow removal mid-winter when we have to hire a contractor to come in and cut down the snowbanks. Like all of that is dependent on our one source of revenue. So I don't know how you're, as much as you can communicate, I support. And as soon as they are eligible and as soon as Real Tax will take it on, I think we just have to move forward.
Thank you. Any other questions, Martin?
Taylor, Barb mentioned that the 2 years for the real tax to come in, that's when it goes through all that. Did it not used to be 3 at one point? And who mandated it to 2? Because that's part of the crunch too. They had 3 years to kind of pay it, but now it's all of a sudden 2. And you just mentioned that rollover that quickens it as well. Was that mandated by the province to change it to 2, or what happened there?
Yes, it was through the province because it's in the municipal act. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Taylor. General announcements. Anybody have anything they'd wish to share? Okay, not today. Ooh. All right. Yeah, right. Moving on to the bylaws. Be it resolved that the following bylaws dated May 20th, save and accept these items. Any of those 4, 5, 6 bylaws, any of those wish to be removed or pulled for further discussion? Okay, be read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation and entered into the bylaw book. Someone care to move that? Jim, seconded by Martin. Thank you. All those in favor? That is carried. We have a closed meeting session today. Be it resolved that council proceed into closed session at, what is it, 3:21? In order to address matters related to a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and in this case, it is acquisition of land update. A position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, and that is development negotiations. And that all those required remain in attendance. Someone care to move that, please? Jason will move that. Jim will second. All those in favor? That is carried. So we will now go into closed session. Okay, we're back in open session and I can confirm that we only discussed those items that were listed on the closed meeting agenda. Confirming bylaw. Jason, Jim, all those in favor? That is carried. Adjournment. Jim and Barb, all those in favor? That's carried. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.